Hello ladies and gentlemen, Sonic Yoda from SEGADriven.com and welcome back to our Sonic Hacking Contest 2017 coverage. In this episode we're taking a look at a generic Sonic 1 ROM hack by CHR Dutch. Now then, oh god, so this one isn't particularly, it's very difficult to be passionate about this one, it's got to be said, because if the name isn't much of a giveaway, this is ever so slightly average, unfortunately. So let's talk about it then, basically. So you're getting a Sonic 1 ROM hack, essentially. All they've done is change the layouts of the stages. So you're getting new stage designs, essentially. And in one act in particular, you get a new colour palette. There are no new graphics to be seen whatsoever. Everything is sourced from the original game. And yeah, you're basically going to be looking at something that you're very familiar with. It's just that when you actually play it, you do realise that the stages themselves are actually designed completely differently. So yeah, it's not the most striking thing in the world, but at least it plays well. And I've got to say, the actual stage design is pretty solid. I did enjoy going through the stages that are original. There's basically the first stage, Green Hill, all three acts are completely custom. And the first act of Marble Zone is also a completely custom stage, but from then on I think everything else is the same as the original game, so there hasn't been a huge amount of changes to the game on this one. It's obviously still in development at this point, but yeah, like I say, the stage design themselves pretty good, maybe a little bit busy. There's some areas where there's an awful lot happening in quick succession, and I feel like it's trying to be flashy and very in your face, whereas it probably should have been just focusing on just being a solid, stage that you enjoy playing and exploring. Whereas I think sometimes they're a little bit obnoxious, the stage designs. The second act of Green Hill introduces a water element, similar to Labyrinth Zone, but they haven't really thought about how well that works in the stage, because for instance, when you go underwater, the background is still above water, so there's this weird disconnect where you just sort of feel like you've been slowed down. I feel like they should have had like a sort of like a cave background or something like that to make it feel like you're genuinely underwater, just to sort of make my brain sort of like fill in the gap a little bit better, and yeah, I don't know, it just doesn't look right. And like I say, the third act goes for this sort of sunset kind of look, which kind of gives me an inclination as to where this like hack is probably going to go if it continues in development. I'd like to see more custom artwork in a future release, I think. Just make it feel more like its own thing. I don't mind just complete, focus on stage design. There's nothing wrong with that, because like I say, I think the stage design is pretty good. Just occasionally it does drop into being a little bit too busy. But yeah, it's a difficult hack to be passionate about, I'm afraid, because it visually looks so familiar that it doesn't really come off as very striking. The stage design is pretty solid, so it's a nice thing to play, but there isn't too much of it here to experience at the moment. There's basically one stage and then another act that's completely custom at the moment. So yeah, it's just difficult to be excited about, unfortunately. Not the worst thing I've played by any means necessary, but nowhere near the best. It's very middle of the road at the moment. I feel like there's definitely a good setup here, definitely something worth working on in future releases to polish and just make it stand out from the crowd a little bit more. But as it stands at the moment, a generic Sonic 1 ROM hack is very much what it says on the tin.